All right. So I want to welcome you to our February meeting, which is a very special month for me and a lot of people on the call. Should be very special for everybody. It's Black History Month. Happy Black History Month to everybody. My name is Joseph Green. I will be your host today. I am the reentry coordinator, and I'm also the director of workforce and job development here at Westside Health Authority. The Community Support Advisory Council was established with a partnership through IDOC to be able to empower our men and women coming home from prison, to give them the resources that they need so that they can step out and go above and beyond in their life. So part of that process is me actually going to the prison. We have a partnership with Sheridan Correctional Facility. And when we go out to Sheridan, we would do what's called pre-release orientations. And in these orientation calls, we would basically have conversations with the men about lifestyle, about changing mindset, and about really focusing on what has happened in their lives and how they can change their lives by not recidivism, right? We want them to not go back. We want the ladies to stay home, but we have to let them know about the resources that we have throughout the city of Chicago, throughout the whole state of Illinois. For those of you who don't know, the Mayor Lightfoot, just recently announced that Chicago will now be a reentry city, right? So reentry resources will now be provided, jobs will be more active, and a lot of other things are going to happen. And as I step into this new role that I have, one of my goals is to not only empower the men and women coming home, but also to start working with the youth now. So now I'm 360 degrees targeting everybody. And my job is to get them prepared for work, get them prepared for what is to be expected when they step on a job site and how to get them to be focused. We're also going to work on entrepreneurship in this coming year. And the goal as Westside Health Authority builds out this new Aspire Center that's going to be located on the corner of Madison Avenue and Central Avenue is to establish these whole sites and establish connections with members that's on this call, people that may watch this video later, and to really connect with the community and let people know that not only in Austin, but we're talking about not only on the west side, but the south side and north side, we are going to establish roles as empowering our people the right way. So this month is very special for me. And it's really a time for me to reflect on my history, to know where I came from, but not only to know where I came from, but to know where I'm going. So I want to empower the people on this call. And I would love for you guys on this call, when you introduce yourselves, put your information in the chat, right? Because some people that's on this call, they've never heard of you before. Some people you may be familiar with. Let's connect with each other. Let's network with each other. I know it's harder when you're on a Zoom call, but if you do your due diligence, it can definitely happen just by putting your information in the chat, putting a phone number, putting an email, and then you, on the other hand, if you're interested in connecting with that person, make sure you're either writing it down with a pen and paper, or you just copy and pasting it and putting it on a Google Doc or something like that, whatever makes it more efficient for you. Part of what we do at Westside Health Authority is, we've been around for over 30 years. And the goal was to find out how can we help individuals coming home. A lot of members and people on this call, including one of my dear friends and my colleagues, Mr. Charles Perry, he has pretty much taken me under his wing over the last 2 years and really helped me navigate, connect me with the right people, and then show me the right ways to do different things. So it's an honor to have not only him on the call, but to have his son on the call to be our inspirational speaker today. We have a soup kitchen that we run every Thursday from 2:30 to 4 p.m. where we're feeding people that's coming home. We also give them free haircuts, but it's mainly we're helping people that need just a warm spot and a good meal in their belly, right? Yesterday was crazy with all of that snow. But I have to thank Miss Maria Moon, who's on the call, and another person who's not on the call, George Ortiz, for their diligent work as volunteers. Every single week, they're coming out to our facility at 5816 West Division, and they're helping volunteer their time. You know, Maria, you know, she gives the word of God every single Thursday, and she inspires. And the whole point of overcoming is we want these individuals to overcome their obstacles. We can't make them get clean. We can't make anybody do anything. The only thing we can do is let them know that we do care. This is a place that's going to give you hope. This is a place that will empower you if you want to be empowered. But we can't force anybody to change their lives. It's up to people to change their lives. But we will give you the resources. And a lot of you that are on the call provide those resources. A lot of you on the call have great programs and you're doing great work. So I commend all of you for taking time out today and be on this call. And if any of you would like to know more about the Community Support Advisory Council, how to get involved, please put your information in the chat. If you're not on the mailing list, make sure that you get in contact with me and I'll put my information in the chat so that we can link up, okay? I'm also going to be pulling out linkage agreements. This is something that I've never done in the time that I've been here. I've always received linkage agreements from organizations. Well, now I'm going to be calling people and I'm asking you for linkage agreements with me, okay? So that we can connect and get the work done. And then I'll let you know what is the plan. 2022, I am full throttle. I'm all about my purpose. I'm all about driving this home and I'm all about empowering my people and my community. So I hope that you all will join me in this crusade that I'm on, or just champion, root from the sideline, whatever form fits you. So real quick, I want to do it a little different. We always start off with a quick prayer. I'm gonna ask, Mr. Perry, you feel like giving a nice prayer? Just a quick one? Or you can't talk? I don't know if he can talk.
I got you.
Okay.
Let us center ourselves.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Heavenly Father, we come to you right now and giving you all the honor, glory, and praise. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to come together to collaborate, Father God, for those that are in need. Father God, we pray for those that are involved in the criminal justice system, homeless, helpless, and hopeless. Father God, we ask that you shine a light on them so that they can get the things that they need to be whole, Father God. Father God, we understand that we're in an unjust system at this time, Father God, but we will continue to be just for them. Father God, we just thank you for giving us the opportunity to be in this place and space. Father God, we thank you for the information that's about to go forward. We thank you for everyone that's here. Father God, we ask that you continue to keep us healthy and strong. In your son, Jesus' name, we say amen.
Amen. Thank you. So real quick, we're gonna go around the room. I know that usually you'll say, hey, my name is Joseph Green and I got all this stuff. Please just introduce yourself. And if you can, just let us know how you're doing. I know there was a lot of snow impacted. It's melting. So hopefully we can get better. And then I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to announce everything that they need to announce. But I ask you to just, let us know who you are, what your organization is, how you're doing today. And then let's just pass it on to the next person so we can get through this. And then we'll have time for everybody to be able to announce what they need to announce. All right. So again, my name is Joseph Green. I'm the Director of Workforce and Job Development, CSAC West Coordinator, and I will pass it to Madeline.
Hi, my name is Maddi. I'm the program manager, Illinois program manager with the Inside Out Network. So we will get into some of what we do later today, but we kind of work in reentry as well. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for coming.
Do you want me to pass it on?
You can give it to Ms. Robinson. She ready.
Okay, Ms. Robinson.
Hi, I'm Ella Robinson. I'm one of the community outreach coordinators at Above and Beyond Family Recovery Center. And I really like this snow, so I'm doing good. I'll pass it on to Peter.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Peter Contos with the Cannabis Equity Illinois Coalition. I'm a policy researcher and community organizer with the coalition. And I'm a little disheartened with everything that happened in Springfield this week, but otherwise keeping positive. And I'll pass it over to Dolores.
Hi, I'm Dolores Cole, Outreach Coordinator with Legal Aid Chicago. And I'll pass on to Patricia.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Patty Delgado. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator at Revolution Workshop, and I'll be presenting later today and kind of give you guys an overview of what it is we do here. But thank you. I'll pass it on to Miss Maria Moon.
All right, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Maria Moon. I am with the Chicago Area Fair Housing Alliance. I'm glad to be here. Glad that it didn't snow as much as was expected. I'll pass it on to Brenda Boyd. Did you go?
I did not. Thank you, Maria. This is Brenda Boyd. I'm the Restorative Practices Coordinator and Community Outreach Community Engagement Officer for Greater Chatham Initiative. And I want to thank Maureen Perkins for the invite to join the group today. And I will pass it to Raquel.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Raquel Pullums. I am the program manager for Ready for Reentry with Heartland Alliance. And thank you for having me today. And I was trying to think, I feel like almost everyone went.
Mr. Perry.
Zoom user? Okay.
Mr. Perry the fourth.
Okay.
How you doing? My name is Charles Perry. I was invited to this meeting by Brother Joe Green. I'm feeling pretty fine. It's my second Friday release after doing 12 and a half years. So I'm feeling great to be here with you guys. Oh, and I will pass it over to Miss Augustus. Have you gone?
Thank you, Mr. Perry. My name is Tina Augustus, and I'm the founder and owner of Elevate Services, a marketing and communications company. I'm also a community advocate, former executive director of the Austin Chamber of Commerce. And next Friday, we look to launch a new chamber. So I'm part founder and executive director. So I'll be able to share a little bit more about that later. And I'm going to pass it on to Juanita Ballard.
You're on mute.
I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Juanita Ballard. I am a family coach with a Journey Forward program / the DFSS program. And I will pass it along to Mel Brooks.
Mr. Brooks. Dr. Benyon, you can go.
Hi, my name is Dr. Felice Benyon. I'm the CEO and president of the Westside Ministers Coalition. Been in the Austin community for over 45 years. And we do work with the Congressman Danny K. Davis with the reentry, just allowing the kids to go to Brookfield Zoo, golfing, and other supportive services that we have partnered with our community co-laborers to make sure that those returning citizens and even their family support is available. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Perkins.
Good afternoon, Maureen Perkins, Community Engagement Specialist with the Policing Project out of New York University School of Law with the Chicago Policing, the Neighborhood Policing Initiative. We do work on both the West and South Side, specifically with officers known as DCOs, District Coordination Officers, with community ambassadors to work on public safety concerns and also strategies on building safe communities and for those youth, returning citizens, et cetera. And I am doing great this Friday. Thank you. And I can pass it to Esme.
So it says ESME on your thing, or you can go to 312-927-4107. But we still got some other people with faces, with names. Mr. Brooks.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nice to meet everyone. Good to see you, Joe. My name is Melvin Brooks. I'm an outreach coordinator for Safer Foundation out at the South Holland location.
Yes, sir. Now I'm gonna just toot his horn real quick, because when he was on the call last month, you know, he was reaching out to people. And just within that amount of time, he's already the new outreach coordinator at the Safer Foundation. So I just wanted to applaud that, because that just shows his diligence, hard work. He's also working with Mr. Perry on some things for the congressman as well. So this young man is doing great work. And I was, you know, he was in the program with the 5 Ventures as well for his entrepreneurship. So I just wanted to just say that, put that out there. Mr. Perry, you can go next, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Charles Perry, former director of community organizing for what I helped on. Now a consultant doing work with the police department in Elgin and violence reduction in the city of Chicago.
Yes, sir. Okay, if you didn't go, because there's a lot of people now, so if you didn't go, please introduce yourself. Oh, there go Mr. Woods. I was waiting for you.
Hi, everyone, and hope all is well. My name is Kevin Woods. I'm with the Safer Foundation Organizing and Outreach Coordinator.
All right.
I have a guest that I hope he got the email that is also working with us in outreach. And I would like to introduce him if I can, Melvin Brooks.
Yep, he just went before you popped in.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad to hear that he made it.
Yes, sir. Mr. Brooks is a good friend of mine.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We're looking to get a lot of things going this year, everyone.
Well, you got a good guy. You got a good one. Anybody else that didn't go, please? I know there's a couple of phone numbers down there. If you didn't go, please introduce yourself to everybody. And don't forget, as I said, some of you popped in, put your information in the chat so that people can get in contact with you. Put your email address, your name, the organization. If you can't talk, just put it in the chat so that people can get in contact with you. All right.
Joseph, we can't download the chat. Is there any way that you can fix it on your end so that we can download the chat, the contact?
I didn't know that was a capability. What I can do is I can take all of the information that's on the chat and I can take all of it from off the chat and then put the information in a document. I can do that.
Okay.
But I would prefer, if you're on a computer, to really just do it yourself, because I didn't really want to do that. But I'll do it. Anybody, if you haven't went, because there's a couple people in here. I don't like when people in here and then they don't say nothing. So there's a 312 number, ESME. You know,
hi, this is Jeanette Perkins. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes, ma'am. This is Jeanette Perkins. I work with TAS. I work for TAS currently. I'm working with youth who are involved in criminal justice system. That's it.
Yes, ma'am. Glad to see you here. So like I said earlier, I am going to be reaching out to everybody personally. I want to sign linkage agreements with everybody on this call and everybody that's not on this call that may watch it later. A couple people didn't introduce themselves, but I'm not going to ask again. We will move on. So before we get to certain announcements, I wanted to allow the inspirational speaker to kind of shed some light on some things. Mr. Perry, as he just said, he just came home, but his story is very unique because ever since I met his father, he's just been telling me so much about him and so much that he's accomplished while he was locked up. And a lot of people don't get that opportunity, or they don't take advantage of that opportunity to better themselves, to empower themselves while they're in the prison. So instead of sitting and doing nothing, he did more. And I can't wait to see the work that he does. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just cannot wait to see the work that he does now that he's home. And, you know, as his father told me, he's like, man, when my son hit these streets, we about to take over. And it's in the right way because they all are about empowering each other, but really doing the work, really doing the work. So we got two people that just came in. Mr. Beasley, if you want to introduce yourself real quick.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Toy Beasley. I'm with TAS, Treatment Alternatives for Safer Communities. I am the Reentry Support Coordinator. Glad to see everybody.
Right. And Ms. Morris is trying to get in here. Let's see if she gets in here so she can introduce herself, and then we can bring Mr. Perry on. I'm not gonna hold y'all for the whole 2 hours, but I know a lot of y'all had some information, important information y'all wanted to share. So I want to give everybody an opportunity to share. Ms. Morris, you want to introduce yourself real quick, please?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tisa Morris. I'm from the Cook County Sheriff's Office. I am the Executive Director of Community Engagement. Happy to be here. Hi, everybody.
Glad for you to be here. Good to be here. All right. So I think that's everybody. Again, this young man, I just see great things happening in his future, and but only he can tell his story. So without further ado, I want to introduce our inspirational speaker for today, Mr. Charles Perry IV. You got the floor, brother.
All right, thank you. First and foremost, good afternoon to everyone that's here. I want to thank you, Brother Joe Green, for giving me the invitation to be here with you all and giving me an opportunity to also speak. My story is a lot like a lot of the guys that you find incarcerated all around the nation. Young, a lot of energy, always was a good person, just made a lot of bad decisions along the way. In 2009, I, along with my co-defendant, who was my younger cousin, we were arrested for assault with intent to murder, armed robbery, carjacking, and a few other gun charges. But through my incarceration, first and foremost, let me say that I was guilty. I did perpetrate every last one of the crimes I was convicted for. I later on plead out on. But when I first made it to prison, I was stuck with a decision. I think it may have been my third day I was in quarantine, and I received a letter from my father. He was explaining to me that I was at a fork in the road. It was time to make some decisions. He said no matter what I decided, he was going to be there for me. He was never going to leave me, but he tried to give me an alternative to the behavior I had been presenting up until that point. So I began to ponder the thought. I was then transferred out of quarantine into one of the worst facilities in Michigan Department of Corrections, and that was a St. Louis level 4. It's usually where you go when you've been a troublemaker. Although I had not caused any trouble, I still classified to go to a high level due to my charges. Pretty much didn't do much, you know, the normal prison stuff. Enjoyed just trying to escape prison. So I stayed working out, basketball, things like that. Then I ended up getting a job. This is why the details are always important. I ended up getting a job in a child house. It's the easiest place to get a job, but it's like the hardest work. So I did good. And then one day my counselor called me and she said, Mr. Perry, your name was referred to us to get a job working at CSAC. You'll be working for the residential unit manager of the whole facility. So I accepted the job. It was a better pay. It was a lot less work. So I took the job. After being with her, she gave me an opportunity. It was time for my point. I had exemplified good behavior. So they gave me an opportunity to go down to a lower level. And she allowed me to pick which prison I wanted to go to. It was a prison named Muskegon. A lot of programs there. So I was like, let me get there. I know it's a lot of good programs down there. But one thing that's never told to us, it's a lot of programs offered in institutions, but it's so hard to get into them. The requirements are through the level. It's like they want you to have so many years in, things like this, not be too close to your out date. So a lot of the programs, a lot of people miss. But I ended up getting down there. The first program I took part in was Muskegon Community College. They gave us a college prep class. It costs another thing. A lot of classes are financial responsibilities. You have to be able to pay for them. I reached out to my grandmother and my father. They agreed to pay for it. So this was the first program I had that opened my eyes to doing something bigger. Like I always had big dreams, but like many people, I had no way of knowing how to get to them. So you sit in and you come up with these grand ideas, but you really have no route. A lady, she taught us the class. She gave me something to do. It's called the vision board, where you write down things you want to do in your life. This was 2014. I filled out a vision board, a bunch of things I like to do, get a college degree, associate's degree, fix credit, learn, come up with better spending habits, keep myself out of debt, things like that. Fast forward, I was transferred back up north to a rougher level 2. I ended up getting into a situation up there. I ended up getting into a real big fight. And I was in a hole for a period, and this is why God is good. You never know what he got for you in the worst places. So while I was in a hole, a guy rolled into the hole. He like, yeah, man, I got a way we can get out of here. We can go downstate and take real college classes, not college prep, but actual college classes. So he ended up getting the flyer and giving it to me. After getting out the hole, I spoke with my father about it, and he agreed to pay. I think it was about $700, $500 to $700. He agreed to pay for it. I was able to get downstate. Now, in between time, I was going through a rough patch at this time because I was on one of the roughest yards. I started back into my physical aggression. I became aggressive again, and I didn't fight after fight, things like that. But eventually, I made it back downstate to a college program. Here, I began taking college classes. It all started with just one class. That's all they would allow you to take. And then probably a semester or two later, they allowed you to take 2 classes. I spoke with my father and my grandmother. They agreed, and I was able to take classes. Around this time, Barack Obama came in with something called the Pell Grant, the Second Chance Act. So what he did, he took a piece of the Department of Education budget and allocated towards those who were incarcerated. This gave me the opportunity to really pursue my associate's degree. Fast forward a little bit, I ended up getting my first associate's degree. I got in general studies, just a common degree. Then they started bringing in focuses, and I was able to get a degree in business administration. So I got that degree, and then I did well in that, and I was referred by the director of the college education program. He called a bunch of us over like, hey, man, we trying to get guys ready for STEM engineering degrees. Would y'all like to participate? Now, initially, it was 4 of us. Myself, I was the only Black guy. It was 3 other white guys. We came real tight with each other. We said, yeah, let's do it. So they took us on a math program. Along this program, I took college algebra, pre-calculus, which is trig pretty much, calculus 1, calculus 2, and calculus 3. Now, to let you all know, there's nothing about me that's a great mathematician or any outrageous abilities. I dropped out of high school and I ended up getting a GED. But these guys, they were all a lot smarter than me. One guy had actually completed calculus 2 on Ohio State's campus. So these guys, we all galvanized together and we came together and we went through the program. Now, our goal was to eventually get STEM degrees, but due to the COVID, we weren't able to finish. But along the way, I also took part in a program called Chance for Life. It's out of Detroit, Michigan. A guy by the name of Tom Adams, he's very involved in the Michigan Department of Corrections, and he started teaching us things about just becoming better men. And what made this program so outstanding, it wasn't nothing for the parole board, although they recognized it, because a lot of the guys were doing life. It was for guys who genuinely got to a point where they said, I'm tired and I just want to do something different. I took part in the program, started off in the Young Men's Enrichment course. At this time, I probably was about 24, 25. Eventually, I ended up making it to be the head guy on the level 1 side. I became a student director. So we began just reaching out to guys. We would teach them small things about how to properly prepare for an interview, how young men's enrichment, conflict resolution, which was a big one, critical thinking. So I evolved around, I began seeing a change in myself. But one thing I realized why it's so hard for men, especially Black men, to change is because, one, we stuck with a perception of what manhood is. And then even if you do get outside of what we call the trap, you get outside of that, you then are faced with how do I change or how do I sustain? And thanks to my father, a lot of other people, I've been given a lot of resources. So now I'm out here and I'm just trying to figure out what's going to be the best route for me. But one thing I want to speak about all y'all who are in reentry is erasing the barriers. Right before I left the Michigan Department of Correction, they started a program where they get you the necessities you need: a birth certificate, a social security card, a state ID. This is only probably about a 6-month program right now, but prior to this, I would have friends who go home and I would reach out to them. How's it going? Oh man, I can't get ID. They asked me to give them 2 pieces of residency to show that I live here, and I've never lived here. I don't have that. So that could be a month and a half of just waiting on an ID. We all know without an ID, a social security card, birth certificate, it's impossible to reintegrate in society. It's impossible to get the number one thing you need, and that is employment. So a lot of guys, we see them coming back and forth, and it's easy to say, oh man, he dumb, he's stupid, why he keep coming back? But the important thing is lowering the barriers to entry, giving them the necessities, giving them here it's called a link card, giving them some way of feeding themselves, because it's hard to focus if you can't eat. So if you reach out to the same guy, one thing about the guys you left behind, they would like to recruit you back into the lifestyle you left prior to incarceration. And it all starts with, let me take you to get something to eat. Let me get you a pair of gym shoes. Let me get you a couple outfits. And next thing you know, you hanging at the house. Eventually, you could try to get a job, but when they all keep turning you down, whether it's they're not felon friendly or you don't possess the documents needed to prove your residency, you could come out with a piece of paper that say, yeah, I just served 12 and a half years, or I served 10 years. And yet this same sheet of paper is not enough to establish the requirements to gain employment. So since I've been out, I've been reaching out to a lot of guys, speaking to a lot of my friends and guys who left just 3 or 4 months before me. And I see a lot of the despair in their eyes. So I started filling out applications just to get a feel for what it is that they face. And it's a joke. I've filled out probably 30 applications. You want a job at Walmart, Sam's Club hiring. But these companies don't hire directly. They send it through a third party. And a lot of these third parties make it so difficult. And a lot of them get a job through Uber, get a job through Lyft, and a guy doesn't even have transportation. So what I've been doing, I've been spending a lot of time trying to see what a lot of the roadblocks are for those who re-entering, to put myself in their shoes, because everyone's not blessed to come home with a father, a grandmother, aunties, who just open the door for them and give them resources. But since being home, I got to say, I've been thankful. I've been blessed. I've shared a lot of time with family and friends. But another message to anyone who may have family who are incarcerated and you wonder, why can't he get it right? Why isn't things together for him? Don't give up on him, because I just knew prior to me going, something I didn't speak on, prior to me being incarcerated, my father and I had a conversation. I had just got out of county jail in Wayne County, which is Detroit. I was caught with a gun. This was my second gun case. I had a long juvenile history. I had a couple weapon cases as a juvenile. I had an assault as a juvenile. My daughter, I had 2 gun cases prior to catching this assault with intent. So if you're dealing with somebody, you like, man, I'm ready to give up on them. Don't give up on them. It's the small things, the calling on his birthday or reaching out to him, sending pictures that'll show a guy where his real love is. But don't give up on him, because I'm sure me and my father had a phone conversation, and I got as disrespectful as a child could ever get with their parents. I asked them to leave me alone. I asked him to focus on himself. He just came home from prison, and this is a nice term without using language I use towards my father. But I asked him to just leave me alone and let me be. But understanding the role of fatherhood, he refused. So although we never spoke till I caught my case, soon as I called my case, he was one of my biggest supporters. He was there trying to usher me through the process of incarceration because he had 20 years of experience in it. So if I could tell you anything, don't give up on your child, whether it's your child, grandchild, niece, nephew, brother. When you know you see greatness in them, allow them to go through their trials and tribulations, but also understand that it's a way out, no matter how long. And this go for whether they in criminal activity, whether you see them indulging in just drugs addiction, because addiction is maybe one of the biggest things facing this next generation. But don't give up and understand that there is a road out, and just walk with them through it. Give them advice, and sometimes just be there. Allow them to cry. Allow them to vent their frustrations, because sometimes we all just need a listening ear. But with that, I sent my my email address in the chat if anyone wants to reach out to me outside of this. I don't want to be too long, but I want to thank you all again for inviting me, giving me the opportunity to speak to you, and I hope I was able to share a little bit that'll give you a little insight on those who are re-entering, or even those who are going through tough times, to just give you a understanding of why they are the way they are. Thank you all.
Excellent. I'm blown away. I'm blown away, brother. Do anybody have any questions for Mr. Perry? Anybody have any comments? You want to share anything?
This is Toy Beasley with Taz. I just want to thank you for sharing. You be an example for others to empower others, like Brother Joseph said. And a lot of men and women are coming home from prison. They need to be empowered. And I truly believe that a lot of our men and women go back to prison because they don't have that mentor to empower them. And also, too, the big thing is, too, you being involved with the CSAC. Our men and women are coming home from prison, jail. They need to be involved in this. Being involved in something like this, that empowers them. Empowerment reduces recidivism. So, brother, keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate you. And I'm pretty sure that you're going to empower others. And there's a lot more work I know that you want to do. Me, myself, I'm also a person that's been formerly incarcerated. And I've been empowered by you today still. And I've been out 20 years. So I appreciate you.
Anybody else wants? And also, just so it's known, invite people. I want people to be on this call with background. I want everybody to be on this call, right? It's just not just for organizations. I want community people on this call. So if you have people that need to be on this call, they want to speak, they want to bring them through. This is for everybody. This ain't just for organizations. This is for everybody. And I've put that in the body of emails before. Anybody else got a comment for Mr. Perry?
I would like to say something. I would like to continue to encourage you. You shared something that's so transparent, your life, and you did it with conviction. And I just want to encourage you, because one thing that I heard a common theme is your father. Your father continued to encourage you. He supported you. And that's something so key in all of our lives, that we have someone to affirm us. And I just want to thank and glorify God that you had a father right there to encourage you and to stand behind you. And so I just want to just keep you lifted up and encourage you to continue helping and serving others, because God is preparing you for your next. That's what I want to say. God is preparing you for your next.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in. Thank you so much for sharing powerful testimonies and how you overcame some of those barriers. Like with the guys that we work with, hearing your story and seeing, because sometimes the people that work for organizations don't necessarily have certain backgrounds, from speaking from us. And so sometimes someone that has been in their shoes and overcome that and get to the other side, it does a little bit more. It impacts them a little bit more to see that. So I was wondering, do you share? Do you give your story or tell your story to organizations and to groups? Do you do any thing like that? And are you back in the Chicago area? I'm not sure. I know you was talking a lot about Michigan.
Yes, I'm in the south suburbs right now. I'm out in Linwood right now. And yes, any opportunity I would to just give someone a little help, a little inspiration, I would be more than happy to, because that's what got me through it. Time and time again, they brought people in. Different organizations would bring people in to speak to us and encourage us, whether they were writing books, they were in music, they were just enjoying being free. Like I was out there shoveling the snow today, and I was talking to one of my guys. I walked all the way. I walked about a mile to I took a long route to my auntie house today to shovel her snow. And this was something I missed. I shoveled a lot of snow while incarcerated, but the snow was just whiter on the other side. It's a lot lighter, and it's a little easier on your back. But and I was telling him, he's like, man, I just can't wait to get out and shovel some snow. I'm finna go sit on my bunk and think about shoveling snow.
Yeah, that's good. Please do. Somebody put it in the chat. If you could share your contact information, because I would love to reach out to you and go further with what you can.
And this is
Boyd, you had
Dr.
a question?
I do. I have a comment to make too, Charles. I too applaud you for having the courage to share your story, because what we have found is a lot of times when individuals are released, that is just a part of their journey that they don't share. So I applaud you for having the courage to share that. Thank you so very much. And I too would be very interested in you coming and talking. Bi-monthly, we hold a men's healing circle, and it is with gang-related members. It is with men that are hurt, and it's healing and trauma. And I think that your voice would be just very impactful and inviting to be a participant in that. So if you could definitely give us your contact information, I'll reach out to you and we'll see if we can't make that happen. And you said you're in Linwood, is that correct?
Yes, I'm in Linwood. Sorry, I'm trying to learn this tech thing now. I told y'all I've been gone 12 and a half years now. I'm trying to send the information to y'all. Yes, I'm in Linwood.
Okay, I just said that because I'm in Linwood as well.
Oh, okay.
I got you. I put it in the chat.
Okay. Did you
Phone number and your email address. Yes, sir.
Yes. All right. Because I had put the email. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you so
right.
very much, and thank you for sharing again.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just wanted to share truly to commend you and even your family, because even as you were speaking, you talked about your dad and your grandma, but it was some things that was instilled in you, that even through all the adversities and the things that have come your way and the decisions that you made, to even say, I got a little, I've had to do some fighting, but you got back on track. And your granddad and your dad and your grandmother wasn't there, but the things that they had instilled in you. That's why the family infrastructure is so important. The seeds that we plant to our youth, and you are a product of that. Yes, we make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We all fall short. But the key to it is you are an epitome of an example of what all the things that have come your way, you still through in navigating, made the right choices. And now you sit there able to bring others through and let them know and navigate them and give them truth and what God has gotten you through. So, and I agree with what everyone has said and Miss Augustus, because the best has yet been told in regards to where God is taking you. And I thank you for your transparency.
Yes. And let's also remember one thing about family. A lot of us guys locked up, we had a saying, it says, blood don't make you family, love make you family. So it doesn't have to be a direct relative for them to be family when we go to breathing on each other. When we talk about sharing and engaging with one another, breathing on each other. So when we breathe on each other, let's always remember, love make you family. It's not blood relative.
Ms. Perkins, go ahead.
Yes, I just also want to say that I am blown away by your story. Working with the youth, this is what I'm trying to prevent from them going to the pen. And sometimes it gets very challenging. It gets challenging. However, I just keep up front that they not know what they're doing. So that kind of drives me. Because I am aware, if they had any idea of the consequences, that this is not something that they would do.
All right.
So I just wanted to come and just say, I appreciate you and your transparency, and I'm going to keep loving them and supporting them the best I know how.
Anybody else? Well, Mr. Perry, man, that was very powerful, but I didn't know it was coming like that, but I knew it was coming. Definitely a chip off the old block, if I do say so myself. Even a little bit more powerful, you know what I'm saying? You know, CP. I thank you for your time. I thank you for sharing. And I really appreciate everybody for the comments that you said. And that's the purpose of an inspirational speaker, to give you inspiration, right? Because the things that he said, like Ms. Perkins just said, it make her think, right? I ain't gonna give up on them now, right?
Really not.
She wasn't gonna give up on them anyway, but now it's like it's more purpose behind it. And sometimes we need that so that we can lock back in, because it gets frustrating when we doing this work. And we want everybody to be like Mr. Perry and have that type of mindset, but we can still develop it, and we can still use and encourage by having people like Mr. Perry that's able to, know what I'm saying, share. So I see great things in his future. I already knew this, and I don't see nothing but success in his future. So I thank you, sir, for sharing, and we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. Anybody
Absolutely.
else want to say anything else before we move on? All right.
Yeah, I do. All right.
I knew somebody was coming.
I was coming. I just wanted to say to you, Charles, you know, I just thank you. You know, I also did time, almost 13 years. And I just, you know, what stood out to me about you and your story was what the first thing that you said. You took accountability. And I believe that that is one of the major keys to change, you know, that you confessed. And I just want to thank you, as everybody else said, for your transparency and not blaming, you know, not blaming everybody else. Oh, I blame this because, and as a child, I blame this, but you took accountability of the part that you play, your own choices. So I just say kudos to that. Hey, nothing but love.
Thank you.
Y'all could have said something while I had to go to the washroom real quick. I had to drink like water for an hour.
It was awkward. I'm like,
I had to go use the washroom. I thought you was gonna hold us until I could get back. But again, thank you, Mr. Perry. And we will move on. So this is the time where we're gonna do announcements. I'm gonna start first. I already talked about linkage agreements, so I will be reaching out to different organizations on this call and some that are not on this call to complete those linkage agreements. One thing that Mr. Perry did talk about, and I will say that IDOC, the Illinois Department of Corrections, is working on and should have established in all prisons by the end of this year, is that those benefits, the ID, the Social Security card, the birth certificate, the SNAP benefits, those things should be coming, Medicaid, whatever, those things should be coming when they leave prison. They should have those things already within their grasp. So this will stop them from having to go around and search, because that is one of the biggest things that you know, people have to tackle. I had a guy call me the day before yesterday, and he's talking about you know, he doesn't have his Social Security card. You can't get your ID without your Social Security card. You can't get a job without those things. So them taking the steps, and you know, hats off to Director Jeffries for implementing this, getting it done, and the people on his staff. so that it makes it easier for them to transition. And now we ain't gotta go through all that. Westside Health Authority, we do help people get their state ID. We do help them get their birth certificate. So if you have clients that are out and don't have those things, we can help them get their social online. That's been the biggest step. But if they have their social, we can get them their birth certificate and we can get them their state ID, okay? And that is at 5417 West Division, but those flyers are in the mailing list. When you go through the mailing list, you can get all of those flyers. If you're not on the mailing list, then I'm going to put my email, jgreen@healthauthority.org. And please send me that so I can send you an invite and put you on the mailing list going forward. All right, Mr. Beasley, have a good one. If you can stay for the whole entirety, I would really appreciate it, because we have 2 great speakers coming up and we have a lot of things that people want to announce. So I'm gonna keep it with just this one thing, and then everything else I'll send flyers for events. We are working with the Illinois Department of Corrections along with Congressman Davis for a 2nd annual Black History Month event that is going to be taking place on February the 25th, which is on a Friday. And this event is going to be from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Okay. Maria Moon, Dr. Bennon, Mr. Woods, and Mr. Perry, who are on the call, are part of this initiative. And what we're doing is that we're going to be connecting with Pontiac Correctional Facility, Sheridan Correctional Facility, Pinckneyville, Western, Menard, and Statesville. So we're going to do a live Zoom call. We've done it before last year. They've also done it over the summer for Juneteenth for connecting with the guys. It's going to be a huge event. It's going to be at Malcolm X. I will put that information on the email blast when I send out the video. So you'll get that Monday, because we're not off on President's Day here. So I will send that video. There will be a video of this. So if you wanted to hear the speakers again, hear Mr. Perry again, this is all going to be on YouTube. We also have a Facebook page. I'll put the link in the description while people are talking, as well as Instagram. So connect, follow, subscribe, share. A lot of times I'll put it on Facebook faster than I put it on email blast, because I don't want to send 20 email blasts a month. I'm only going to send like maybe 3 a month at the most. Okay, so if you are not on Facebook, please connect to the Facebook group. It's an easier way. I send a link through there, and it's an easier way for you to connect and then get those flyers out quickly. That was my only announcement really that I wanted to make, but the flyer, I will send it later. I hold the floor for anybody that has an announcement. I know Miss Augustus had an announcement she wanted to make, and I don't see the other young lady on here, which just lets me know it wasn't that serious. So, and Miss Moon has an announcement as well. So anybody could take the floor, and let's make it, as brief as we kind of can, and leave it as detailed, because I want to give enough time for our 2 guest speakers. All right, thank you.
I'll yield the floor to Ms. Moon. You can go first.
Oh, thank you so much, Tina. Okay, so I am, well, you all know that I'm the Senior Housing Justice organizer with Chicago Area Fair Housing Alliance. As a returning citizen, God put it on my heart to start a ministry house. So there are 4 components. I'm gonna be really quick, so I won't take up too much space, but there are 4 components. One is victims advocacy, which I'm most passionate about. People that have been abused or been victimized in some type of way, dealing with trauma. And then the second one, re-entry, of course. And then the third one is youth prevention. And then the 4th component is community development / service as well. It's a whole lot of details, which one day I'll definitely explain. But right now I am in the middle of closing The property is in Chicago. I'm supposed to be closing on March 4th, and I have a GoFundMe up. If anybody would like to, I was supposed to get a $3,000 grant from Neighborhood Housing Services, and the funds were allocated, so I did not receive. So I'm going to put the GoFundMe information, the link in the chat, if anybody, if it's on your heart to support, or if this is something that you feel led or directed to give to. And then also I'll let Joseph know, because I am going to have an open house, because by faith I know that this is mine, and it's not about me, but it's about the people that I'm called to serve and minister to. So thank you all. I'll put the link in the chat.
You had a lot of today, boy. You a little nervous, huh? Let me tell y'all something real quick. Miss Moon kind of being lighthearted about what she's trying to do. The house that she is going to build, this is an idea that was brought to her, that God talked to her and gave to her. And I seen her take it from one place, and now it's at a very serious place. So she's already got $1,000, maybe more than that, since the last time I checked for the GoFundMe. But what she's trying to do is house our returning citizens so that they can have a place to get the services that they need, right? And she is very impacted because she was impacted, right? But she is going to put her best foot forward to make sure that this becomes a reality, right? So even if you're not gonna donate and you put it in the chat, Ms. Moon, share it, right? And maybe somebody is gonna touch them where they're gonna want to maybe be a part of it. And I'll leave it at that, because I hear the she don't want to ask, right? But we need to ask, because we want to make your dream a reality, and it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen. So I salute you for your work. And we'll present 22 here. I don't know what that means. Miss Augustus, I'm sorry, you have the floor. I just wanted to say that.
All right. Can I get sharing rights? Okay, thank you so much. All right, so I'm going to start first with the with the Chicago Westside Chamber of Commerce. We are hosting our lunch. I have to get used to saying that, Chicago Westside Chamber of Commerce. And the decision to form the Westside Chamber came out of a need to help unify and bring together the various chambers that are here on the West Side. And I'm going to share this with you. So I just dropped the link for the registration. Can you all see that right there?
Yes,
ma'am. Can
ma'am.
you see that now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. And so it came out of a need to unify the West Side of Chicago. There are 9 communities that are on the West Side of Chicago, and many of them are marching to different beats. And we need to unify so that we can capitalize on the resources and funding that's available to help build our businesses. And this goes back to even returning citizens, those who have a desire to start businesses. The Chicago Westside Chamber of Commerce will be available to assist, even with these minority business certification. We miss out as, small business owners and even medium-sized business owners, because, the Bible says that, men perish for lack of knowledge. And our organization have access to Fortune 500 companies, city colleges of Chicago, universities, and state government. But if there is no one to guide, or hold a person's hand and take them through all the steps and how to get there, it's a lot of money that's being left on the table. And, you know, I heard someone say once, if you're not at the table, you're part of the menu. So we don't want to be part of the menu. We want to be able to sit at the table and talk with some of these major companies. My company, Elevate Services, we are a women minority certified with the city of Chicago. So now we can sit down with colleges and Fortune 500 companies. Last September, I had the opportunity to sit down with quite a few of these stakeholders in the community and on state levels. And I can tell you, it feels good to be able to sit down and finally do contracts, you know, with many of these major entities. And so with that, I'm bringing our chairperson. His name is Bernie Martin. He's a fashion designer. He's of African descent, Black gentleman, and he has traveled the world. You know, he lived here in Chicago, lived in the Bronx. And so he has a lot of experience to share with many of our young people who's looking to go into fashion, but don't know how to. There are so many different, you know, people think about fashion, they think that, you know, it's about making clothes, but the industry is wide, you know, manufacturing and even screen printing, you know, there's so many things, and that's just in fashion. But we have quite a bit to offer the young people and our returning citizens. So that's one thing that I want to, and I dropped the link if you want to go and register. We have the backing of the city of Chicago. We have the backing of other major organizations in Chicago, as well as the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, and that's Larry Ivory, who has helped found chambers all throughout this country and including in the islands. So we have access to a lot of resources. And here's another. And so when I mentioned it, as far as, you know, forming this chamber, we had to have the freedom in order to be able to serve properly. And that's why this chamber was formed. And so here's another opportunity that we're looking to implement in the city of Chicago. This is a citywide event. And our group, which is the African American Male Wellness Agency, and so we're looking to promote health and wellness among African American men. And we chose the organization, we chose Pastor John Hanna to be our honorary chair. And we chose him because, you know, he is a, you know, great figure in the city of Chicago, a wonderful role model, not to, you know, put any shade on any of the pastors, but we were looking for a way to be able to captivate the entire city. And so Pastor Hanna, you know, we felt that he would be a great start. Now we're having a breakfast in coming March, and we want to, you know, invite the ministers and pastors to come to this breakfast, but we also want to invite all the nonprofit organizations and groups all throughout Chicago, because we're looking to link the hospitals, the medical centers together to do screening. I mean, this is a huge event that started in Ohio, and then it moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and it's in North Carolina, and now they're bringing it to Chicago. And so we're looking to be able to reach as many men to come out on June 25th. We will be announcing the location where the walk is going to start, and it's going to be a big, huge health fair with resources. So we're looking for as many organizations to come and join us. I will be sending a link to you, Joseph, so that you can get it out to all the organizations as well.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And the last thing that I want to share, and this is going to be really quick. I'm working with Mrs. Annetta at the Sankofa Safe Child Initiative, and we're looking to link as many organizations, those who offer services to our returning citizens and their families. This company called Unite Us. It's the same platform that work with the hospitals and clinics, you know, when you sign off to allow them to access your medical records. Well, they've created a different platform, not for us to access medical records, but it's so that we can use it as a referral type of system. So we no longer have to create these resource guides. You know, I'm sure some of you all remember those days of having big gigantic stacks and books and pages of all the resources. Then it goes out of date in a couple of months and you have to do it all over again. Well, Unite Us has formed a platform that is free to us. CETA has enrolled in it. United Way has enrolled in it. Quite a few organizations are now members, where you have your profile, your information in the system. And let's say if a family need access to food, you go in, you put their name in, you put what the service that they need, and then all the agencies that are offering whatever resources that you're looking for within the mile radius will pop up. If you feel that you reach your max as far as offering services, you can click a button, and then it won't remove you out the system, but you won't appear when when an organization is looking for service. So I'm going to send information to Joseph Green so that he can send it out to you all. Then this way we can do a presentation. I'm going to drop the video in the chat so you can, maybe right click or left click and look at it at your leisure. It's just, I think it's like a 1 or 2 minute video. But this is Unite Us, and this would be a great way to link. When he talked about linkage agreement, this is a great way for us to link together to be better equipped and strong to help our families. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See, we met also, me and Miss Augustus met because I joined the Austin Chamber of Commerce, and it's just been a whole nother thing, which is a blessing, right? And I'm so glad that I'm able to connect with her, and I'm just happy and looking forward to what we do this year in 2022. So get in contact with her. She put the link in there, find out what is going to be happening. And as she sends me the information, of course, I'm going to send it out to everybody as well. With that being said, I'm going to put this Facebook link in the chat for the Facebook group. If you are on Facebook, just join, because a lot of times I put it in there first before I send it out. Before I go to our first guest, does anybody else have an announcement? Anybody else have anything to share?
Yes, this is Dr. Binion.
Yes,
We're
ma'am.
going to have Commissioner Larry Rogers speaking about property taxes and stuff at our next meeting. I will give you the flyer for that. And also, I'm a part of Clergies and Manufacturing, and they have a lot of training and jobs. And if that's for returning citizens to get their certifications and stuff. So I'm still getting more information. I can touch bases with you, Mr. Green, and make sure if you know anyone. Also, with one of my other members, we're looking for about 2 or 3 high school students, if you know someone, to deal with it's called a STEM program with ComEd, where they have like 2 or 3 slots. And we wanted to make sure any of the kids in the Austin community, I do have some fillers out with some, I've got to get it in. It will be February the 23rd. So if someone has some high school students, really, please let me know, maybe 2 or 3. They have some slots, but they are giving them gift cards, okay, and a certificate. It's really nice.
I got you.
Okay.
Can I touch base with you on that Tuesday, or is that too late?
It's on the 23rd.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk to the youth director after this meeting, and then
get
I
back
have
with
your
you.
number. I can get back in contact with you today.
That's what I need to know. Thank you.
We can have some people. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. Again, I did not reiterate this. I will put the flyer in the chat. We do have legal aid services here at our office at 5422 West Division. So if you know of people that need help with personal things, with rent, support, mainly because of this call, which is about reentry, expungement, record expungement, you can send them over to our office at 5422 West Division, and I will put the flyer in the chat. We're open Monday through Friday, and this is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have an intake specialist. Her name is Patricia Martin. She has a great rapport with the community. We actually got some more verbiage coming over here later today from Mr. Russell from Legal Aid Chicago. So this is great. Very happy, excited. I just wanted to share that because a lot of people don't know. People need legal advice. They need counseling. They may need some help. We have it in Austin at 5422 West Division. So once I introduce our first presenter, I will put some things in the chat. And with that being said, does anybody else have any announcements, anything they want to say? May you speak now or forever hold your peace, because once I go to these presenters, I'm gonna hit them back to back. And I thank you, everybody who shared that wonderful information. All right. With that being said, I'm gonna introduce our first guest speaker. This young lady is doing great work. I have not sent anybody over there recently since COVID hit, but I know a couple of men who have come from out of Sheridan Correctional Facility who have gone through the program that she is over at Revolution Workshop, and the great work that they're doing. I've seen it happen. I've seen it take place. And this gentleman who I wanted to be an inspirational speaker, he couldn't do it because he's so busy working. I just know that the program works. So without further ado, I want to introduce Ms. Delgado from Revolution Workshop, and she can kind of give you the ins and outs. And if you need this share, I am giving you that right now, and you have the floor, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy to be here. Thank you again to Joseph for inviting me to present today. I know it's been a while since anyone from our program has shared information about the program that we offer. So I'm really excited to be able to be doing that. I love CSAC West. These meetings have a special place in my heart. I actually started joining these meetings while I was still in school last year when I was a social work intern with the workforce development program or workforce development department at the Greater Chicago Food Depository. So I'm really happy to be able to continue being here now representing Revolution Workshop and all the awesome work that we do. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Can everybody see it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. And the presenter notes don't show right now, right? It's just the actual slideshow that you guys can see.
Yeah, we see the top of your screen, and I don't know if you wanted that to be there, but that's fine.
That's all right. As long as you don't see my speaker notes, that's fine. Okay. Just want to make sure. So again, my name is Patty. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator here at Revolution Workshop. So I'll just give kind of like a brief overview of our program, what you can expect during our training, our 12-week training program, what our eligibility requirements are, and then finally at the end, I'll kind of go over the enrollment and application process and what that kind of looks like. So I'll go ahead and start it off. So a little bit of background on us. We are a nonprofit organization that provides construction training for unemployed and underemployed people who are looking to start a career in construction. So basically, we're a free pre-apprenticeship program that'll help people prepare for an apprenticeship and develop those basic skills needed for entry-level employment in construction or the trades. We were founded in 2018, so we've only been around for about 4 years, but I think we've done a lot in those 4 years, and I'll get to that in a second. But we are located right now in Garfield Park in East Garfield Park on 3410 West Lake Street, right off the corner of Lake and Holman. Really accessible by the Green Line. And then we're really excited to share also that we're going to be expanding our services, and we're going to be opening up a new Southside location in May, piloting with our spring cohort down there on May 16th, down in the Pullman neighborhood. And that's actually part of a community development initiative to restore the historic homes down in Pullman. So all the trainees that are enrolled in that cohort will actually be working on restoring the porches in those historic homes, which I think is super cool. So that's kind of where we're at right now. These are some of our success rates, just to kind of give you guys a better idea of what we look like with numbers. 80% of our trainees typically complete the program. 90% of those graduates are placed in jobs, and then 85% of those graduates placed in jobs keep their jobs at 3 months. So job retention is really important to us, and obviously to our trainees, and job placement is as well. And that's something that we really help with throughout the training, and I'll get to that in a couple of slides. But just to remind everyone, $18 an hour is the starting wage for entry-level construction jobs on average, and that's with tons of growth potential. So on average, you know, after 4 years of somebody having experience working in this field, they can make upwards of $30 to $45 an hour if they're with a union. So that's something that's really important to keep in mind. You know, these are really great jobs that'll pretty much set you up for life. So I'll go ahead. The next slide, if it lets me. Okay. So why is Revolution Workshop focused on construction? And there's a number of reasons why we kind of focus on this field specifically. The reality is that it's a really lucrative industry, right, to work in. You get a lot of great pay, really good benefits. However, it's an industry and a field that tends to be really white and really male dominated. So our vision here at RW is to advance social and economic equity and peaceful communities for all people. So we want to be able to present these really great employment opportunities to everybody, to our undeserved communities especially. So, you know, people who are returning home, returning citizens, Latino populations, Black populations, women's. So we really want to be able, again, to offer these employment opportunities to everyone across the board, and kind of change the scope of what this field looks like right now. So that's kind of our overarching vision. Another reason why we focus in on construction is because there's a really high need for it for entry-level workers. It's a really, you know, it's one of those fields that's always hiring, especially during the warmer months. Today's construction workers are also getting ready to retire. The average age is 60 years old. So a lot of employers, a lot of these construction companies are seeking out entry-level workers and seeking out those younger men and women to join their team. So that's really important to kind of keep in mind. Another thing is that people aren't learning about the trades as much as they used to. A lot of high schools have removed woodshop classes and courses from their curriculum. I think it's only about 6 CPS schools that offer any woodshop or carpentry courses today. So the need is there, but the opportunities aren't. So that's another reason why we focus in on construction exclusively. And lastly, it's a field that's expecting to get busy, right? Like I said, there's always a lot of jobs available, especially during the warmer months. So it's something that we really want to be able to get across to these communities in need, again, especially with reentering folks. So I'll go ahead and kind of touch on what we're looking for in terms of eligibility. And this is pretty much the concise list of our main eligibility requirements. So first, we have an age window, and that age window is 18 to 39 years old. The reason we cap it off at 39, again, is because a lot of employers really seek out younger people who are able to kind of stick with their companies for a longer period of time. So we want, and like I said, you know, going back to how a lot of today's seasoned workers are starting to retire, that kind of ties into that employer need as well. So we want to make sure that our program kind of reflects employers' needs in this sense, so that we can kind of connect all these graduates to jobs once they're done with our program. You also have to be legally able to work in the United States and have a social security card. You have to have at least a state ID to enroll, and able to get a driver's license by the end of the program. The reason that we require a driver's license is because construction tends to be a really commute heavy job field where, you know, you're expected to drive out to different job sites throughout the week. And so this really presents as a barrier, or it can present as a barrier to people who don't have the ability to drive. So we do require it, but we do also, if that's not something that you have, you know, if you have any holds on your license, any unpaid tickets you have, that's something that we help you with, to be able to overcome that, so that by the end of the program, you'll have your license ready to go. We also require that you're able to pass random drug tests after being admitted into the program. The reason we test is because, unfortunately, this is something that a lot of construction companies and unions still do. So we want to be able to prepare our trainees for this process, right? And we understand, you know, that cannabis is legal in the US. I think that's the one thing that people always test, or not always, but people typically test positive for in our drug tests. And like I said, it's just something that these construction companies and unions still test for, unfortunately. So we do kind of incorporate that into our training. However, we do have a lot of leeway for that first drug test, you know, understanding that people are, you know, just stopping their smoking habits, or just starting to get clean. So if you test positive, it's not like we're going to kick you out of the program right away. However, we do want to see those levels of whatever substance you test positive for go down with the following drug tests. And that's something that we can help out with. We're also, of course, very background friendly. Any open cases, any felonies or misdemeanors on your record, that's not something that we look at. We do work around, you know, any house arrest cases. We work with probation officers, any upcoming court dates that you might have. We are very understanding with that, and we, you know, work around that as much as we possibly can. The only thing we really look at are sexual offenses. And even still, that's done on a case-by-case basis. So if you are interested in this program, or if you know someone who's interested in this program and that's something that applies to them, just reach out and we can kind of talk a little bit more about that. And then lastly, we want anybody who goes through our program to have an interest in working in the construction field, right? We want all of our trainees to be as excited and as passionate about this as we are. So that's something that we kind of look out for as well. And then again, if you feel like some of these, one or more of these requirements, you or your participants don't meet, just again, feel free to reach out to me and we can kind of talk it over a little more. So our program simulates a construction environment pretty closely. So it's pretty much run like a job site. You're going to have those same expectations as you would on a construction job site, starting with scheduling. This is a 12-week program, which is roughly 3 months. So it's really, really intensive. It's almost like you want to think about this as like a construction boot camp. There's a lot of information to cover in those 12 weeks. So it's really important that all of our trainees come in on time and are really dedicated and engaged throughout the training. We do have a full-time schedule, so it's Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we really hold all of our trainees accountable to being here on time. Attendance is really grounds for, you know, probationary consequences, dismissals from the program if, you know, there's a habit of coming late with no prior communication. We say that the program is, or the schedule is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. However, we really try to model the same scheduling or expectations that you see on construction job sites, and that to be early is to be on time, and to be on time is to be late. So typically we want all of our trainees clocking in at 7:45 a.m. at the latest, at least 15 minutes before class starts, just to kind of get them into that habit of what they're going to be expected to be doing once they're employed. So again, there's a probation period, the first 2 weeks of the program. And this is kind of almost like a trial run, right? For where we kind of look at all of our trainees and assess them on attendance, on attitude, communication, compliance, to see if they're following up with all of this. And then kind of, it's also a time for all the trainees to kind of be able to assess this program and see if it's a good fit for them. So like I said, any continued, attendance issues or lack of communication, those are grounds to dismissal that are really looked at during the probationary period, those first 2 weeks of training. So that's something that I just wanted to throw out there so that you guys can keep in mind. We're also expecting all of our trainees to be construction ready. So making sure that they're wearing the appropriate and safe clothing, following COVID-19 procedures, making sure they're wearing face masks, testing if they feel sick or if they feel like they have any symptoms. We don't require vaccination proof for any of our trainees, so that's not something that we look at, but we do want to enforce these safety procedures as enforced by the CDC. And also just that you're ready to work, right? Coming in ready to learn and ready to get that hands-on training started. So while you're in training, like I said, you're going to gain all these entry-level construction skills. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to gain really valuable experience while you're in this training with us. Our program here focuses on carpentry and woodworking specifically, mostly because that kind of provides a good base knowledge for all general construction work. However, our trainees do get exposed to different trades and different areas of the field, right? So if you want to think of construction as like an umbrella, all these different trades fall underneath it. So the way that we do that is we have different employees and construction companies and workers from these companies come and do live demonstrations or workshops on different types of trades. So like electrical work, painting, plumbing, drywall installation, all these other categories that fall under construction, so that all of our trainees can see, what else is out there, what else they might be interested in, so that once it comes time for them to actually start applying for jobs and getting assistance with job placement, they know kind of more, have a better idea of what it is that they want to do specifically. So all of our trainees are going to learn the ins and outs of the field. You're going to get hands-on training on woodworking, like I mentioned, like building tables, building sheds, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Our trainees get exposure to what it's like working in a noisy environment, using a ladder, working up in high locations, and then working in the natural elements as well. So during the warmer months, we do typically sometimes have off-site job locations where we kind of take all of our trainees to do work outside, just to kind of get them exposed to what that's like and what they might potentially be seeing once they find employment. All of our trainees are going to get exposure on what it's like working on a team, learning how to communicate with others, getting a feel for these construction work schedules. Again, working early in the morning, using all types of different equipment and PPE. They're pretty much going to be able to get to see it all. So again, during our training, you're going to learn all the basics. And the way that we do that is we present it in a hybrid format of hands-on training in the workshop and then classroom work as well. So in the workshop, like I said, you're going to get a lot of hands-on training with everything, using all kinds of equipment and doing all that hands-on stuff. So no experience is needed. We have trainees coming through our doors, who don't even know how to use a hammer or a drill, never held a drill in their lives. So, and that's okay, right? That's what we're here for. So it's absolutely no experience needed. But then if you do have experience, that's also great too. So really either or works. We, again, also have a classroom portion of training, and all this coursework is mostly done virtually in the classroom setting. So, you know, they have laptops, there's books involved. But this is more of that like math review, learning how to read blueprints. And then we incorporate these other aspects of, you know, career development and financial literacy into the class work as well, which I'll go over in a little bit. But that kind of just sums it up of what the hybrid is for this training program. Once you complete the 12 weeks, you get 2 certificates. So the first is the NCCER Core Construction 101 certificate, which is a mouthful. But this certificate kind of lets all employers know, or let an employer know that you know all the basics when it comes to construction and that you're ready for an entry-level job. The OSHA 10 certificate will basically let an employer know that you know all the safety basics, right? So maintaining a safe work environment, climbing up a ladder the right way. I think even CPR is incorporated into this OSHA 10 certification. So that's pretty much the 2 certificates that you'll receive at the end of the 12 weeks with us. So in addition to these basic construction skills, you're also going to learn life skills and receive a lot of training in career development and financial literacy as well. So these classes aren't separate classes that you have to sign up for. They're already embedded into our training and typically happen at the end of the day. So our financial classes, we go over, you know, saving, budgeting, strategies on building credit, becoming a homeowner for the first time, pretty much anything pertaining to finances, so that once, you know, all of our trainees are done with the program, they're working, they have a better idea of how to handle their finances and how to be savvy in that sense. We also do employability classes, so that's more of that concrete resume building, job interview preparation, job search strategies, basically anything pertaining to job placement. That's something that we help out with as well. And then we also have executive functioning classes, which is more of that, I want to say like mental health tips for our trainees, you know, conflict management, things like that. So those are kind of 3 things that we incorporate into our training in addition to that hands-on actual construction hard skills. And then we are a profit or not, well, hold on. We are a nonprofit organization as well. So we do provide wraparound support services for all of our trainees. We want to be able to help support all of our students in any way that we can outside of just, you know, teaching them and providing them with these really important skills that they're learning. So in addition to being a free program, we also offer free transportation assistance for every single one of our trainees. And we do that by offering weekly CTA Venture passes or $25 gas gift cards, depending on what they use. And that's every week that they receive that to be able to help them come down to our shop and do the training. We offer free lunches every day, a small weekly stipend of $50 per week, which is not a lot by any means, but it is, you know, something that they can use for a small grocery run, or they can even just save it up throughout the 12 weeks and use it for something in the end. It's totally up to them, but that is something that we provide on a weekly basis. We provide our trainees with their own set of tools, their own PPE. We also provide tutoring for anybody who needs it. You know, like I mentioned in the classroom work, there's a lot of math review, reading review that not everybody is going to be strong at, right? Especially if you've been away from school for a long time or if you never graduated high school. That's another thing too, is that we don't require GED or high school diplomas at all. So that's kind of why we offer this tutoring service as well. If we see that you're struggling, you know, with your math coursework or your reading or anything like that, we do have tutors that are able to assist you and throughout the whole 12 weeks that you're in training pretty much. And then finally, we also offer case management. So any connections to resources that a trainee might need, you know, housing or, you know, legal resources. We do have connections with the community and, you know, my role here is to build relationships with all these great resources on this call and also just in the community in general. So that's something that we make sure to connect our trainees with as well. And that's pretty much it in terms of an overview of what our program is like. Here are next steps in terms of the application process. Our enrollment process is very competitive, so the sooner that we get applications in, the better. The first step is to attend a virtual information session, and these are going to be happening weekly starting next Tuesday, February 22nd, every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. through Zoom. And this is pretty much the first step in applying. And the info session is essentially this entire presentation that I just gave, but it's geared more towards trainees and applicants, right? To help them better understand what the program is like. So that is mandatory. That is the first step in applying. And through this info session, we give the link to the application as well, which would be the second step. After they submit an application, we review it on our end and then decide to call back for an interview or to schedule an interview. These interviews for this upcoming spring cohort are going to be happening virtually only, just because we are recruiting for 2 different locations this time around. We want to make it easier on our staff. So they will be happening virtually, potentially through Zoom or I think Google Meets as well. After they complete an interview, they'll be called in to complete pre-enrollment paperwork. And this is paperwork that will be done in-house on Wednesdays. And then after that, they receive the notification of whether or not they've been accepted into the program. After they've been accepted, they're invited to come in for orientation and tape testing. And that'll be happening the week before training starts at both locations. So dates for that are still to be determined. But pretty much they'll come in to complete an orientation, to meet all the staff, go over the trainee handbook, and then they'll also be taking a TABE test, which is the test of adult basic education. Pretty much the same thing as the ACT you see in high school, but it's not on a pass or fail test. We're not looking at scores for this to determine, their eligibility in the program. It's really just a way for us to assess where each trainee is in terms of math skills or reading skills, so that we know how much we're going to have to help them with tutoring throughout the program. So I know a lot of people tend to freak out when they see, that we test, but it's really just a way for us to help them. So that'll be happening the week prior to training on one day. And then after that, of course, training starts. So our upcoming spring session for the Garfield Park location is going to start on Monday, April 25th. And again, that's here at 3410 West Lake Street. And then our Pullman location will be piloting its first cohort on Monday, May 16th. And they're located down on 211 South St. Lawrence Avenue, right out of the Greenstone Methodist Church, which we're really excited to be able to be partnering with them. So that's kind of where we're at right now with recruitment for the spring. That's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Hope this was helpful. I know I threw a lot of information at you, but here's my contact information if you want to reach out with any questions, or if you have any participants in your programs who you think would be a good fit for this program, or who you think are really interested in starting a career in construction, definitely reach out to me, and I'll be sure to get them information on our info sessions and applications as soon as I can.
All right. Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
I wanted to allow everybody to ask questions, but we have another speaker and I want to give her time. Okay. So if you can, Ms. Delgado, put your information in the chat so that they can, or you guys can take a picture of this right here. And I'm recording this as well. So I do thank you for your time. That was a lot of powerful, great information. Like I said, I know some individuals who have gone through that program and I've seen their success. We want to get more people. And now that they have another location, that's just showing greater. So now they have one on the west side and now they have one on the south side. So if you know of individuals one of the key things she said, and I'm gonna move on. You don't have to have your GED or your high school diploma to get in the program. A lot of these other programs, you have to have those documentations before you can go through it. And if you can pass that TABE test, that'll put you on a position to start something great. So I commend you for all the work that you have been doing, the work that you're going to continue to do. And as she gives me flyers for dates, I will send that out to you guys. And I really thank you, Patty, for taking time out of your day to really break it all down for us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Like I said, if you have questions, please reach out to her, because I know there was one question about age, youth or whatever. So if you have any other questions, just reach out to her, because I want to give Maddi time to explain to you guys what the Inside Out Network is. This is a great opportunity for everybody on this call to get in contact with her, because the Inside Out Network is communicating with inmates who are currently locked up, right? And you can provide your information to send those resources to them and connect with them while they're in the prison, right? And this is really the only way, unless you are in the prison like TASC or CSAC, to actually connect with people. But you can connect with people through a whole extensive network in the state of Illinois. So I'm sorry, I know we got a little time left for you, but Maddi, if you can, I'm gonna give you the floor and just talk about this great program and everything that you're doing in the work.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. As Joseph mentioned, my name is Maddi and I'm with the Inside Out Network. I'll give you just like a little brief background about us. So our executive director, Fred Nelson, he was a pastor, well, he still kind of is, but he did prison ministry for like 20 years, and he wrote a book called The Spiritual Survival Guide. And it kind of was just a way for him to connect with those who were incarcerated and some who'd be getting out, some who would not be, and that kind of thing. But he did find one overwhelming, realization that people that were getting out did not know where to go to get help. They did not have, know how they could get a hold of reentry resources. And he just realized that was a big problem. So he first created a book. Some of you might be familiar with it, but it's known as Red Chicago. And it was a paper document that used to get handed around in facilities and stuff. And then from that, he decided to go kind of transform it into an online platform, which is called the Inside Out Network. It's what we call a multi-sided platform. So it's kind of like eHarmony or eBay or anything like that, where there's two parties who are looking to connect with one another, and they, need to see who the other person is, and if they have things in common that can help one another and that kind of thing. So that's kind of like I said, a little bit about ION, the platform, and a little bit background about us. Does anybody have any questions? I am going to go into a demo of the platform. I'm going to show you what it looks like for a returning citizen, and kind of what it looks like for service providers. But before I get into that, I just didn't know if anybody had any initial questions. No? Okay, so I know we're kind of tight on time, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me see. So hopefully everything's yellow for you guys and that you can hear me.
Yes, ma'am, you good.
Okay, perfect, awesome. So this is what the home screen looks like. I'll just show you a little bit about, so one thing that's unique to the platform too is both parties are able to make their profiles unique to them and their needs. So as Joseph mentioned, we do work with the Illinois Department of Corrections to get people enrolled on the platform pre-release. So that way, hopefully the main goal is that, or the eventual goal is that they will be able to use ION before they get released. But either way, we're getting them enrolled, we're letting them know that they will have this resource upon release. And that's something we really work diligently at. But they're able to create a profile specific to them and their needs. So their registration form looks something like this. We keep it short enough so that it doesn't take too much of their time, but still long enough that it's customizable. There's just some basic information starting out, name, gender, that kind of thing, date of birth. There's a couple main pieces that our platform runs on. So one of them is the release address. So We'll get into the conversation in a minute, but there are different service categories that they can pick that they will need help with. But then they also want to put their location because they will be matched with providers based on need and location. So this is their release address. Kind of some questions about if they will be on parole or probation, just so providers know how to best help them. And then these questions are completely optional, but we do ask a couple if they wish to answer. Sometimes it will just save some frustration when looking for housing or employment or other things that may have restrictions. The answer to these questions does not at all determine like anybody can join ION with any type of offense or anything like that. It's just, like I said, to help them ease their frustration in the provider search. There are some questions about their education. And then these are the categories I mentioned. So the returning citizen is able to select as few or as many from this list as they would like, the different things that they think they will need help with upon release. And then when service providers create their profile and they select the services that they offer, when the two align, they will be matched. So that's kind of how that works. So you can see there's shelters and housing, legal assistance, healthcare, education, employment and job training. These are kind of the main categories that returning citizens have mentioned they need assistance with. And then they can write stuff about themselves if they would like. So some people write, that they're bilingual, maybe that they're a veteran. Some maybe if they're diabetic, they need, people to know that. They can kind of put whatever they want in this box. And then they just hit agree and submit. And that's it. So like I said, that's how they create their profile. I'm going to go ahead and log in as our demo returning citizen, so you can see what that looks like. So this is Joe Newman. He's our, this is, like I said, our demo returning citizen. So once he creates his profile, this is the window that he comes to, and it's called his dashboard. So there's a couple things that Joe can do. For one, he can always edit his profile. So if his needs ever change, he just scrolls down and can select some different services. Same thing with address. He can change that at any point in time. The next biggest thing that they, or the biggest thing they do on the platform, obviously, is search for providers. So if they want to search by category, so, this is the list that comes up that matches their 9 categories that they chose from during registration. But let's say Joe needs help with some shelters and housing. He has a list that comes up. All the organizations are here on the left. The map is on the right, so Joe can see where they're located. The address at the top is his release address, and then the distance can go anywhere from 5 miles up to 100 miles. It defaults at 15, but he can adjust that as he would like. Say he's reading a little bit about the organization, and he's like, okay, they sound interesting to me. He is able to click on that location and get, in that organization and get more information regarding location, the services they provide. Joe can then navigate to the website. There's a phone number to call. I'll get into the messaging in a second, but they can also read, some additional information about the organization, and he can favorite it. So if Joe decides, all right, this one looks good to me. So if it's not filled in, that's kind of what it looks like normally. If he decides to favorite it, he just go ahead and favorite it, and they go to a separate list. So he can kind of keep track of the services that he thinks will be helpful. And then, so the messaging piece too, this is what's kind of unique to the platform as well, because all the messaging can be done through the platform. So a lot of returning citizens sometimes don't have an email. ION's also a website versus like an app. So anywhere that Joe logs in, he has access to his messages, that kind of thing, because it's all kept on site. But if he wants to message the provider, he just clicks the message tab. This box will pop up. He will type in his message and then hit send message. So we won't do that because Joe is, fake and this provider is real, but that's just how he would go about sending the message. So if I go back to the dashboard, you can see I mentioned the favorite list. So this is Joe's favorite list, and you can see there's Grasmere Place on here, which is the one we were just looking at. If he clicks this, it will just navigate right back to that organization's page. If Joe wants to keep track of his messages, they all come up here on the right-hand side. So I'll kind of show you a thread with our demo service provider, but this is what it looks like. So it kind of keeps track of all the things that they were talking about. It's also interesting because the providers get notified of the returning citizens as well. So they are able to reach out and kind of be proactive. As you can see at the top, hi Joe, welcome home. They're telling Joe that they have support groups that they offer and that kind of thing. So that's sometimes really helpful because not only do the returning citizens sometimes struggle to find providers, but sometimes providers struggle to find returning citizens, the people that they're trying to help. So this kind of allows them both to have a channel of communication. And then there's a notes page. Joe can, like, if he has a meeting coming up or needs to bring his ID or something like that, can kind of keep track of some notes. And then there's just frequently asked questions, some reentry tips, that kind of thing. If somebody has a problem with ION, they can just hit provide feedback, and that will take them to a little contact window where they can ask us for help. So they're just, something is wrong with a provider or they forgot their password or anything like that. They can also submit this without being logged in so that we can help them with their login info and that kind of thing. Let's see, those are I'm kind of going through it really quick, just because, like I said, I know it's a little tight on time, but those are kind of the main features of a returning citizens profile. I will stop sharing for a minute, but does anybody have any questions right now?
Yeah, so I have a question.
Yes.
This is Greg Gaither with Woodlawn Reentry Project, Chicago.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. So my question was, two questions actually. Does Inside Out do any of the direct services around reentry? And the other question is, the agencies that they may refer, make potential referrals for or to, are they, these agencies, are they familiar with these agencies to the extent that they have some knowledge about their delivery of services or any other kinds of standards in terms of services delivery?
So in regard to the direct service question, so we do not provide any of the services. We just kind of play that middleman. Our platform is just the means to basically connect the two parties. So we don't really offer any services ourselves. We just put them in contact with providers who can help them. In regard to like a vetting process, so providers can sign up anyway, right? Sometimes it's word of mouth from another provider and that kind of thing. Majority of them are signed up through us and through our team of like interns who reach out to them and kind of connect with them and make sure that we're on the same page as far as the services they offer and the quality of service and that kind of thing. However, even though there's like no like really formal vetting process, because we're online, right? So we can't like go to every housing organization that's on our platform. We're like a little nonprofit. But we do take any type of like complaints or concerns very seriously. And then we do have a process to remove them from the platform should there be an issue. So we always encourage returning citizens that if they're not getting a service that is beneficial or something is negative going on, we definitely take that very seriously and we look into that, and we will remove them from our platform if something is not up to standard. Does that help?
That's it. That helps. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else have any?
I was gonna say, if you can real quick, kind of, because we are at time capacity, but we can keep going. I asked people in the chat if they wanted to, they could stay. If they have to leave, I understand. How can they get involved? How can they connect so that they can be a part of it? And then maybe we bring you back and kind of walk through the steps, or if you want to go through the steps.
Yeah, so the thing you can do, if you are an organization who's a service provider, you can go ahead and just register as a provider directly on the platform. So if you want to do that, here, let me see. I will put that link in the chat right now. So this is the direct link if you're a provider and you want to register. And then of course, I'll put my information in there again right now. I did do that earlier, so hopefully it should be earlier in the chat too, but in case it's not, this is my email. Let's see, so that's my email. I'm just doing throwing it up there quickly. But so yeah, you can go ahead and register as a provider. You can contact me by email if you have any questions. If you would like a demo that's like a little bit more in depth, and then I can show you the provider side, because it does look a little bit different for the provider, right? Their returning citizen lists and all that kind of thing. I'm happy to do an individual demo for different organizations as well. So if you need to bring it to your other staff or something, I can do that. If you know a returning citizen who wants to sign up, it's always free for any returning citizen or anybody justice involved. So even if they haven't been incarcerated, but are impacted by probation or parole or that kind of thing, they can register directly on the platform as well. So let me see. I will go ahead and put that link in there too. This is the registration link for any returning citizens who might want to join the platform. You can just create a profile and kind of go from there. So yeah, I think that's the biggest things you can do. If you're a provider, please register with us. We would love to have you. We want to put, returning citizens in contact with as many people as we can to get them the help that they need. If you know a returning citizen who's in need of some resources, please encourage them to sign up with us. And then if you have any questions, please email me and I will be happy to help or do another presentation or anything like that.
And I can always connect you with her if you don't have access to do that. I want to apologize to you because I didn't expect for the time to go so long where you didn't get a chance to really do the demo, because that is an important part of seeing how you would put your information in. As Mr. Gaither said earlier, you can put your own information in, you can put your own flyer in there, and you can directly contact. So we get an email every time. It lets you know exactly how many people who are currently incarcerated are, if they're already out, if they need help, right? So there's a general look, and then there's actually, you can go in there and you can just reach out to people. So what I usually do is I put like a direct message in there, and then it'll go to all of the different people who are on the network. And then they can reach back to me if I provide the services that they need. But each individual, once you put your information on there, it has that you have the ability to put all of your services, everything that you do, and then the network is going to categorize you in the proper place so that when they're looking for something, it directly hits. And depending on what area they're in, right? So they're not going to show you West Side Health Authority if they're on the South Side, right? They probably show you CSAC South. If they're on the North Side, they're not necessarily going to show you CSAC West. They're going to show you Howard Area Center, right? So the network knows how to navigate. They just have to put the right amount of information on there. And I think because of COVID, everybody just has this problem where they can't get access to the men and women who are coming home. This is the way that you get access to them, by joining this network and just putting your information in. It's a great way to fish to reach clients, right? And then you got the Revolutionary Workshop and all these other programs that could get connected through them just by collaborating and having great conversations. So I thank you. I apologize again, because you were the first person I asked, but I was trying to save the best for last, right? And the time just constricted. So I do apologize. I do thank you for your time. I thank Mr. Perry. I thank Mrs. Delgado. I thank everybody who shared something today, Ms. Moon, Ms. Augustus, everybody that was on the call. Make sure that you connect. I will send the list with all the information at the end. And that'll probably be Monday or Tuesday when I send that out. Again, those other flyers, if you go on the Facebook page, they are up now, but I'll send them next week. Thank you. The next meeting is going to be on March 18th, and it'll be on Zoom again. I thank you guys for your time on your Friday. Enjoy yourself. Stay warm. Watch out for this ice. Stay healthy and blessed as always, and I will see you next month.
Thank you.
All right, now y'all have a good one. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody
Take
be
care.
safe.
Take care and thank you.
All right, now y'all. Thank you all. Enjoy.